And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Time for question of the week. My wife Angie is here. Angie, say hello.
Oh, hello.
And Angie looking only like she can look here today. I'm very impressed at this wardrobe here. So can't wait to go out to the market with this. Oh, everybody's gonna be hitting on you like, no, stop it.
My God.
Stop it. But Angie looking good today. And Angie, it's almost your birthday. We're just a couple of days away. I was just filling everybody in about the podcast on Tuesday, a little birthday celebration for Angie. More discussion on that. So we won't make you tell all those stories all over again. I'll save it for the podcast, of course. But happy early birthday to Angie right here. And I'm sure I share the same sentiment that everybody watching says the same thing as well. So happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
I should have brought a cake with some candles. We could have blown it out. That would have been something. You love a good blowout. I know that's for sure.
That sounds bad.
Oh, it's not. It's real good. But Angie, one thing I forgot at the top before we get to the question of the week, I believe you have something over to the side. I forgot to talk about the Patreon giveaway for the month of June. Here we are, and we got two things that we're giving away. It's the Maya Via 3-pack right here. Of course, you know the Maya Via family, and you also know the Evolution box set here. So one Patreon member will win both of these sets here, of course. Pays to be a Patreon member. Angie even helped me pull the winner for last month. So check out that video, of course, on the Patreon. Shout out to the winners over there. But that is the Patreon giveaway for Angie's birthday month. One for my birthday month, one for Angie's birthday month. That's what it is. We're giving the gifts here is what it's going. So
sounds about right.
There it is. There it is, Angie. So now we're done, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, no, we got the question of the week. That's right. I almost forgot about that part. Angie is here for the question of the week. Anything you want to talk about that... Anything? I don't think so. I think you covered it all in the podcast. You gave us the lowdown on all of that. So
riveting information.
It was really good. We heard about you detasseling. We heard about your basketball skills. There was so much. Your love of Texas Roadhouse. Your love of getting blown out. There's a lot of fun stuff over there.
I don't think you know what that means.
Oh, I know what it means.
Like poop your pants?
No. I don't think you know what it means.
That's what a blowout means to me. Like if your baby blows out.
I figured you would say a blowout in your hair.
Oh,
like you get that.
Too.
That's what I would think you would go to, but
I just never do that.
I'll fill you in later. I'll fill you in off camera. But Angie, it's time for the question of the week. Are you ready for that? Can you handle it?
Okay. I guess.
Okay, well, jump in.
All right. Spawn 3x5. Can you name the all-time best figures in the collection?
Whose collection? Your collection?
I'm guessing yours.
Mine. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how you validate that. Is it my personal opinion? I've said it a million times. My almighty. Do you know what it is?
Oh, a warrior. That warrior statue. No?
That's good. That is good. That was a great birthday present for my dad once upon a time.
I base it for myself.
No, my dad got that for me. It was very nice of him. A great gift. One of the best gifts I've had in many a year. But no, it would be my LJN Ultimate Warrior from when I was a kid. That's very meaningful for me. So that's the best figure in the whole collection. And it is worth a lot of money, but even if it was worth $1, it would still be so much to me, very sentimental. So but besides that, all the 1 of 100s, 1 of 20 classic superstar stuff. There's that 1 of, what is it? 1 of 13 He-Man? I already forgot. I'm on the spot, but I have that 1 He-Man figure, the translucent one. I got some Motorhead statues. There's a lot of good stuff in the collection, but my all-time best figure in my collection is always going to be that LJN Grand Toys Warrior. Love that so much. That's why it's so important for this Coliseum collection coming from Mattel that plays tribute. It's an homage. Homage, Todd McFarlane? Yes, of course. That is just going to be really cool for me. It's going to be like a full circle moment. So I can't wait to unbox that one here on the channel. So fingers crossed that comes sooner rather than later. And, things usually come soon around here, don't they, Angie?
Mm-hmm.
Way too soon. Way too soon. That's the problem. But that's the way it goes from time to time. But that is the question of the week from Spawn 3x5. And if you want to be the question of the week, if you got a question for Angie or you got a question for me, put it in the comments below. And, of course, visit with Angie every single Tuesday for all that and much more on the Kyle Peterson Show podcast with co-host Angie, wherever your podcasts are found. And Angie,
I thought you were going to say I'm the best thing in your collection.
Oh, she got me. You're right. You pulled the old Lemmy from the old Lemmy documentary.
The figure. I have the best figure.
You got
in
the
your
best
collection.
figure in the collection, but no, that is true. But I have used that. Somebody asked me that one time too. What's the most important thing if you could
Your
save
most
anything in the
valuable
house?
Possession.
I said I would
My
save.
wife.
I would save Angie first, and then the dogs, and then the rats, and then I'd get the some of the action figures out of there, and then finally Elle and Emma would finally get their chance to get out that window. But just hold on, guys. Just 5 minutes more, you'll be all right. But there it is, Angie. There it is. So another week of the weekly purchases upon us here. Any last words?
How many weeks have you been doing this?
Oh my gosh, 250 something, something like that, and never missed a weekly purchases. Never missed them, nor a toy news, or a video, or a round of fun. Never miss. I never miss. That's for sure. But here we are. Angie and I are going to go do some figure hunting and get dinner too. So see the fruits of those labors hopefully later. We'll see what happens with that. But there it is. Once again, you want to be the question of the week? Put it in the comments down below. And until next time, Angie, it is time for the weekly purchases. All right, time for the question of the week. And of course, welcoming in my wife, Angie. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angie. But Angie, of course, it's time for question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down low. And who knows, you may be the question of the week. Angie, what are you doing today?
I don't know. I felt weird. Didn't we take a week off last week?
Yeah, we did. There was no questions. Nobody wanted to talk to us. There was no questions. So
I feel like I haven't done this forever.
Back in the saddle again, but you're looking good. All pretty and green right here. You're ready for a hot summer day, and it's officially summer.
It's too hot today.
It's too hot. So
Too hot to handle.
you're gonna be out in the pool later today? The topless in the pool like the other day?
We're in a heat advisory.
Oh, no, not today. Okay.
I better not.
Heat advisory, better not.
Might stroke out.
It's too hot for the neighborhood. That's for sure. That's for sure. But Angie, it's time for the question of the week. And of course, you know what's coming up here in a couple of days, my birthday. Mm-hmm. Are you ready? Are you prepared to give me everything I need?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wink.
Perfect. But we're going to be off to that race. More on that next week, I guess. But Angie, it is time for the question of the week. Take it away. We're going to do 2 questions this week.
Yay. All right. JAL 52558. Question of the week. What would make you say I'm done with your favorite toy line? Prices, quality, something else?
All points in between, but it's hard though. Like if I'm deep into it, like the elite line or the classified line, something I really love and am passionate about, I'll eat a little bit of that price increase just because I like it so much. But obviously, if things start breaking like crazy, I'm not going to stick with it. Probably. I can't. You can only afford so much. Every once in a while, you have a broken toy. You know about broken toys, right? You've seen them a few times. Yeah, it's a hard time. But when I do say I'm done, it's usually I'm just not feeling it anymore. Like Star Wars, perfect example. It was just too much of the same old, too many price increases, not moving forward in articulation just was a recipe for me to say, I got to get out of this mess. I'm done with it from there. Obviously prices. I mean, if G.I. Joe Classified, for example, goes from $25 to $55 a figure, well, probably going to get done with that, right, Angie? Mm-hmm. That's why. But it's just a little bit of whatever. And it really comes down to, am I feeling it at the time? And a lot of times I get rid of stuff where maybe it was just a bit of a passion project for a second, and then I moved away from it, you know?
Or you run out of room.
Or you run out of room one day, maybe. Or maybe you say, I got this little ancillary collection. Do I need this anymore? I'd like to use it for something else. We'll see where it goes from there. But it's just kind of one of those things. Am I feeling it or not? I guess all those things are a part of it. But at the end of the day, it really is just, am I feeling it? Am I feeling the love? Am I feeling the passion? That's where it goes from there. Next question.
Swipe right. ASGADS. I have a common question. Do you keep the packages or how do you store all your stuff?
Angie, do I keep the packages?
Speaking of room.
No, I don't. They go to see you later to the garbage can is where they go. But I do save a couple of things, like really special stuff I will save, like Mondo packaging. If you're paying $200 and some for a figure, you're going to save that packaging because that's part of the experience. And if you're going to sell it one day, you're going to want that as well. But for the most part, classified, elite, wrestling, all the usual stuff. No, I think it's ridiculous to save the packaging. It's just so much work. And let's say you are going to sell that sometime. You're going to get an extra $2. Is that worth taking up a ton of space in your house, your garage, storage unit where you're paying every month?
Couldn't. There's no way.
There's no way I'm saving all that packaging. And at my heart, I'm a mint on card guy. It's just not possible at this point here.
What do you think percentage of your collection is mint on card? 25?
No, I don't know.
Not even that?
Classics room, that's about really it. Retros, there's a few. I don't know. 5% probably at this point now. When I was a kid, I was more mint on card, but just not mint on card anymore. And at the end of the day, it's just if you're collecting, you're buying this stuff, you got to get the most enjoyment out of it. Are you getting a lot of enjoyment in the package? I know some people say, yeah, I am, but you don't even know what's on the back of that figure. You don't even know if they got some writing on his back. Who knows what's going on?
And after I go to bed, you take a couple guys out and do a little match. And, you wouldn't be able to do that.
You can't do that in a package. You're clamming packages together right there. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I really think you'll enjoy your figures a lot more if you open them, you display them and stuff. But I guess, it's your collection at the end of the day, your money. But if I'm going to have it in package, maybe you just don't have that much. If you're only collecting one little line or something, it's not that big a deal. But if you're collecting a lot of stuff, it's really freeing to be able to open stuff and having some room right there is what it is. So that's about it. I think so. And how do you store all your stuff? So stuff as far as I'm guessing maybe hands and stuff like that. I put them in baggies and I label them and I put it in a box. I got a box for WWE Elite, box for WWE Ultimates, box for AEW, box for Marvel Legends, box for G.I. Joe Classified, and so forth. So that's how I do it. I label it, put it in there. Like Elite Series 118, all in the same baggie. If I had to get them, I can figure it out looking through those hands.
And if it's been on card, it's hanging on the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not sitting in a box.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't have any loose thing or min box stuff sitting around. It's our wallpaper. That's right. As wallpaper. And what about you, Angie? What do you do with the packaging and how do you store all your stuff? She says,
I don't keep packaging.
Yeah, she takes everything out, like the shoes and stuff. She's not keeping the box. Well, maybe you keep some boxes.
Well, I do keep like expensive Nikes. I do keep the boxes.
I guess. And she's got quite the Nike collection. Resell them or whatever. Yeah. You got a new pair of LeBrons the other day, didn't you? You're like a young Caitlin Clark. Does she have shoes? I'm rough
on my shoes, though. I wear them to like work. I don't wear them as like...
Does Caitlin Clark have shoes?
It's not streetwear for me.
Does Caitlin Clark have shoes? Does she?
She has her own custom. All her own.
Oh, you need to get a pair of those. Maybe not. They're probably super crazy expensive, I'm sure. Who knows? Who knows? But there it is, Angie. That is the question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below. And Angie, you want to say goodbye to everybody? Goodbye, Angie. And now it's time for the weekly purchases. All right, time for question of the week with a little change of attire. I had to put a hat on as we just got back, literally just got back from getting the kids from school. They just had their last day of school here today. And then we went to the grocery store and we took the Jeep, of course. So it was a windy, dangerous adventure. So I got my hair up in a hat. That's the way I had to do it. Angie took her hat off for the show, of course, here today.
We're filming late tonight. We already ate dinner and everything.
Filming late. Ate dinner. Had some steaks on the grill, just eating like Primal Mint or something.
Twice baked potatoes.
We're gonna have some
strawberry shortcake.
Oh, Angie made dessert. Oh my gosh. We're just in for it. We're in for it here tonight. As school is out, I guess it officially feels like summer now, of course.
Officially, what is it? Matronly?
Something like that. But I forgot to say, Angie, say hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. There you go. But Angie, we're back with the question of the week. We got a lot going on this weekend, and we're going to get after it. We're going to start right now. The weekend starts now. Maybe not. I guess it ends now because this is going to be up on Sunday. But Friday as we're filming this here. But Angie, are you ready for the question of the week this week?
No, I heard it's for me, and I don't like that.
She hates it when they ask questions for her, but it is, so you got to read it. Or you want me to read it? I guess I could read it. I can read it. She loves it when I read. Jerry-ZC5QT. 5 quarts. 5 quarts.
Cutie. No, he's a little cutie.
Oh, is he? Okay, well, I'll leave you guys alone. It says, Angie, you are looking amazing this week.
Cutie.
Angie loves that, of course.
You?
As always. As always, I guess.
You tend to agree.
Sometimes. Angie, have you ever channeled your inner Stephanie McMahon and went heel on Kyle during your shows? Now, do you know what heel means?
Yes, but I don't get it during my shows. What do you mean?
Just filming or something like that. But Angie, it's funny that people always compare Angie to Stephanie McMahon. She gets that an awful lot online, of course. And sometimes you get the Mona Lisa.
I'm tall, athletic.
Is Stephanie tall and athletic? I don't know.
I feel like she is. Blonde brunette hair.
I think she's like 6'7", I think. I'm not mistaken. I'm not mistaken. But Angie, have you ever channeled your inner Stephanie McMahon and went heel on Kyle during your shows and just got angry?
No.
Why
would I ever go heel on you?
I don't know.
You're such a little sweetie.
Oh, please. Sometimes you get like you're tired and you don't want to do it. You're like, I'm too tired to do this. And that's about your biggest heel turn. It's like you just don't got anything to say. You're like, get this over with. Let's get this over with. Let's get it zippy. Let's get it going.
Like, can we do this later?
But Angie rarely ever gets mad. She is truly a saint. I'm very fortunate here because I got a lot of stuff you should get mad about. Let me tell you. But Angie doesn't get mad. She just rolls with the punches. You just kind of roll with the flow.
You get mad at me.
Oh,
when I spend too much time.
Oh my gosh, yes, every single day. Every single day. I just want our kids to feel like they accomplish something when they buy stuff instead of let's just go to the K-pop store and spend $100 and enjoy. And then tomorrow, let's go do this and that. It's like, you guys could empty the dishwasher. You could sweep the floor. Yeah. But I'm the drill instructor and you're the nice one. So I'm always, dad's horrible.
Yeah, what they get isn't compensated correctly in chores. That's for sure.
Is what?
Is that how you would say it? Like the things we buy them doesn't equal out the chores they do.
And I'm the bad guy letting them know that when I was a kid, I had to work for all of it. I had to be good and do all this stuff. And so I'm always the bad guy. And you're the good guy.
Yeah, they're good.
She's always the good guy.
I never have to put them to bed. I never have to get them up.
Yeah, because they stay up all night.
But they get up on time. They get ready for school. They always clean their rooms.
They got an awful lot of sass.
They get good grades.
Awful lot of sass.
Teachers love them.
I just have to point to my belt every once in a while and teach them a lesson. Say, maybe not. But
Kyle thinks all kids were like him.
Yeah, you got to work. My dad had expectations. My dad had expectations, and you had to do that. And if you wanted that GI Joe, you wanted that something, you had to do your work. And then when you became, 12 years old, and you had to get a job. I'm just the old man shouting from the tree. That's what I am right there. But
Kyle used to cut the grass with scissors.
I used to have to cut the grass with scissors. I used to have to go around the fence with scissors and cut all that.
I think somebody would record that these days and turn you into CPS.
They should. And one of these days in the podcast, we're going to tell the crabgrass story. One of the greatest stories of my childhood. And it involved me getting X-Men Series 1 from Toy Biz at Toys R Us. And I had to do quite the chore. And I'd love to have my dad come on for that one, just to say, man, this idiot Kyle, he'll do anything for $1. But we'll see. Maybe one day we'll get my dad on the show for that there. But Angie never goes heel, unfortunately. She's just a face through and through. I'm the heel, that's for sure. So
what was this movie?
You give me the diamond cutter, the stone cold stunner. What are you gonna give me?
I was just trying to get you around the neck and drop you.
Yeah, you're gonna give me the bear hug, and then I know what you're gonna get up to. I know your moves. I'm
sweating.
She's sweating. Oh well, you'll be sweating later, that's for sure. But that's it, Angie. That is the question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below, and check out even more Angie on the Kyle Peterson Show every single Tuesday.
Down below. I feel like
down below. You could. But Angie will be there, of course, the Kyle Peterson Show with co-host Angie each and every single Tuesday, early for Patreon YouTube channel members, of course. All-timer video this week, of course, as well. So there it is, Angie. That's Question of the Week. And once again, if you want to be the Question of the Week, put it in the comments down below. But now it's time for the weekly purchases. All right, time for Question of the Week. And unfortunately, my wife, Angie, is not here. I cannot find her. She disappeared, left the house, left the premises. And I got to, unfortunately, it's like 100 degrees outside, but I got to mow the yard. I got to trim the trees, edge around the fence, all that kind of fun stuff. And I'm going to be a hot, sweaty mess. So I said, you know what? I'm going to film this by myself this week. So that's what I'm going to do. Question of the Week, just me, just us right here today. And I do got the Question of the Week. Before we get to that, though, we got a whoa, stop the clock. Of course, I just got back from a birthday party. Shout out to my niece, June, 1 year old. Oh, 1 year old. So much life ahead of her. We'll see what happens with her in the future. But I got home, and at the mailbox today, a few things were here. I did get the Bulletproof Studios ice cream bar. They were nice enough to send me a Macho Man ice cream bar. Now, semi-related to the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior ice cream bars that we unboxed on the channel a ways back. This one officially licensed by the Macho Man, or from the Macho Man estate, I guess what we'll say. We will unbox this on the channel, so stay tuned to that here in the future. But we're not done. Grapplers and gimmicks coming in extra hot. We got the two latest and greatest. John Pierre Lafitte, the wrestling pirate. Shout out to him. And then Quang, a dangerous ninja, of course, from, I believe, Puerto Rico. Yes, one of those Puerto Rico ninjas right there. But I did get both of these through the door. We'll unbox these together on the channel sooner rather than later. Make sure you do subscribe. That's some whoa, stop the clock. Before we get into the weekly purchases, some late breaking weekly purchases. But now, getting into the Question of the Week, and it's going to be a fairly quick one here. It is Tom Bowling 8646 this week. Question of the Week, Kyle, is there a syndicated comic strip that you enjoyed that you would like to see turned into an action figure line? Calvin and Hobbes, Bloom County, Beetle Bailey. What would it be? Wasn't there like a Rex Morgan MD? Could we get that line? It was like a soap opera in the comic strips. And I haven't got a newspaper in 100 years. I haven't even looked at a newspaper in 100 years. But I wonder, are there still comics in them? I guess it depends on your local newspaper, I guess is what it was. But when I was a little kid, I was like 6 years old, just getting into comics and stuff, I absolutely love the Sunday paper, especially the Sunday paper, because it had all the comics in there. However, I was never blown away by any of them. Spider-Man was in mine. Your mileage may vary what paper had what cartoons and stuff, but Spider-Man I was all in. And I remember every weekend I would cut it out and I would paste it on a piece of paper, and then the next week I would paste the next one and so forth, making my own comic. I was a crazy kid apparently, but it was like a free comic book that you would get, kind of, but it was only like one strip with like 4 panels. You'd be like, oh, I gotta wait till next Sunday to read the rest. And that's the life we lived. But I remember Dennis the Menace was a big one too. And I think Calvin and Hobbes, what was that other family? The Family Circle or something? Was that one of them? And I remember they were all god-awful. I hated all of them. Every single one of them I hated. Calvin and Hobbes, hated them. Didn't like any of them. I don't even remember Bloom County, and Beetle Bailey sounds familiar, but I couldn't place it if I had to. But I never really liked any of that kind of stuff. The Far Side, I think, was in there. That was okay every once in a while because it was just like one panel, and it was just, one of those things you kind of laughed at real quick. But for whatever reason, all those like family cartoon comic strips just did absolutely nothing for me. I like Spider-Man. Now, I loved Jay North. Shout out to Jay North, recently deceased, unfortunately. Dennis the Menace on the old TV show back in the day. Loved it. Loved me some Dennis the Menace. Loved both versions of Mr. Wilson. I loved all of it there. But I did not like the comic book. I didn't like that little like thing. So that really wasn't for me. For whatever reason, I didn't like any of it. But I remember that like Rex Morgan. I think that's what it was. We're going to pretend that's what it was. But it was like a soap opera in there. And I remember this thing. Who reads this? And I just imagine there was some like old lady who nowadays, if she was an old lady, she'd be like 140 years old. When I was a kid, they were old ladies then. But I'm like, they're probably sitting down with their coffee and like a cookie or something. And they're I got to read my story. It's Rex Morgan or whatever it is. I don't know. Not for me. So yeah, nothing would really jump out at me. I guess Spider-Man would be the only one I ever liked. So I'd like to see that, but we get Spider-Man all the time. So your mileage may vary if you were into those, but it was nice, free, cheap entertainment, I guess, for a lot of people, I'd have to imagine. But I always loved that Sunday paper because I'd get, you get the Toys R Us ad, the Target ad, the Kmart ad, the Venture ad, the Walmart ad, and so forth and so forth. Always loved looking through that. What toys are in here? What are we going to see in here? Is there going to be any deals, anything like that? Got to get a deal even when you're a little kid. So I'd always spend the first maybe hour of my Sundays going through all that kind of stuff once upon a time. A simpler time, that's for sure. And that is the question of the week. If you want to be the question of the week, you know what to do. Put your question in the comments down below and you may be question of the week. But now it's that time. It's time to dive into the weekly purchases.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?